Have you ever gazed into the eyes of someone kind, someone soft, the kind who would never harm a soul, and wondered how he could just go and do something unspeakable? A cheating father, loving, a betraying friend, loyal, a patriot citizen who is immoral. They all start out with good intent, so what happens to good and makes it bad? How does morality fail so subtly that the person who is doing harm still believes they're doing something good? Because evil doesn't usually begin with hate. It begins with rationalization, with the soothing voice that says to you, "It's for a good purpose. I had no choice. Anyone else would have done it." And there you have it. Guys like us, and you become the very monsters we told ourselves we'd never be. The question is not why bad guys do bad things. That's easy. The real question is, why good guys do bad things? Because when you finally realize that you no longer view the world in shades of black and white, and you start to observe what is between, that dark, fuzzy place where morality gets distorted, and the human brain justifies anything, the descent starts with a choice, a tiny compromise, so insignificant that it is innocuous. A deceit uttered to preserve someone, a white lie, a silent betrayal that you feel you can rationalize. These tiny fissures in morality are almost invisible, but they each quietly erode the foundation of who we believe we are. Before we know it, the boundaries get fuzzy. What was wrong now seems right because we've convinced ourselves that it's a necessity. Psychologists call this moral disengagement. It's a cognitive trick our brain plays to keep our self-concept intact. We do bad things, but refuse to define them as bad. And it's strangely prevalent. Ordinary people, doctors, teachers, neighbors fall into every day, not because they're monsters, but because their brains are wired to excuse, rationalize, and defend their concept of self. Even history is riddled with examples. Citizens who followed odious orders, believing they were just following orders. Families who killed their own, in the belief that it was for the greater good. Evil isn't a bolt of lightning. It's a slow, insidious fog that moves in and settles in the human brain. Obedience and authority. Stanley Milgram's infamous studies reveal the terrifying reality. Ordinary people will harm others simply because some authority figure tells them to. The subjects weren't sadists, they were compliant, and compliance is a powerful moral blindfold. Our society teaches us to comply with rules, laws, and hierarchies, but the same principles become chains that tie our conscience. When the powers that be talk, our individual sense of duty is harmed, we push responsibility away. Considering, I was just doing what I was told. History repeats this ad infinitum. Soldiers perpetrating atrocities, employees aiding corruption, citizens tolerating brutality, all under the invisible hand of obedience. It is not evil that makes the initial move. It is conformity. It is a relinquishment of thought. And once you abandon your conscience, the rest is history, self-deception, and rationalization. Good men are bad when they deceive themselves. They make up excuses, reasons, and justifications for actions they would otherwise judge as wrong. This is the art of self-deception, persuading yourself that you are good in doing something bad. A little white lie becomes habit. A compromise becomes a pattern. We lie to ourselves. I'm doing it to defend someone. I have no other option. It's not that serious. These are euphemisms. They quietly redefine our morality. And bad is good. Next thing you know, you're no longer performing something for your values because you believe that the act in itself is not evil. And this is the frightening part. The mind does not justify for other people, it justifies for itself first. The role of environment morality is not abstract. There is a role of environment, the people we hang out with, the systems we belong to. The culture we breathe are all determinants as to what we consider right and wrong. Peer pressure, societal norms, and cultural expectations will desensitize us to evil. When all the people around you are bending the rules themselves start to disappear. Even the good folks begin to do stuff they never thought they would do. History confirms this time and again. Ordinary people engaging in hurtful movements just because everyone else is doing it. Societies turning a blind eye to injustice. Growing up perpetuating cycles of cruelty because it's become the norm. Morality is fragile, and when the environment is confirming evil, our moral compass falters. The duality of human nature. Human beings are not strictly good or evil. We exist in a constant equilibrium between light and darkness, virtue and vice. This dualism is why good human beings do evil. Our capacity for morality and immorality coexist. The same mind that raises a child can betray a friend. The same heart that loves can destroy. Knowing this doesn't justify evil. It shines a light on it. It forces us to confront the uncomfortable reality. The dividing line between good and evil is narrower than we would like to believe. And it can cross over sneaky, almost in secret. And so how do we avoid falling? Awareness is the beginning. Identify the way your mind rationalizes. Renounce authority when it transgresses your conscience, refusing the world that justifies harm. Good people don't turn bad overnight. It's a slow, intentional eroding of their moral grounding, and every single one of us is susceptible. The solution is vigilance, a conscious attempt to examine our motives, our rationalizations, and our actions. Because morality is not a fixed state. It is a choice we make every day. Evil does not always be loud. Sometimes it is a whisper. It quietly creeps in incremental compromises, silent obedience, and subtle rationalizations. The chilling truth is one, we are all capable of doing it. But we have that knowledge, the ability to behold the darkness before it consumes us, the power to act knowingly, on purpose, and with goodness. So the next time you catch someone or yourself doing something suspicious, remember, it's not necessarily a hard thing. It's sometimes the subtle, unseen forces acting on their mind. And with that in mind, we can seek the wisdom to live in a world where good and evil exist. Because morality isn't about perfection, it's about seeing the line and choosing not to cross it.